This is Santa Hat, because this might be the last one I can get out before Christmas, because next week's one is the one we did with Dad, and the week after that is the last Friday before Christmas, which is quite peculiar.
I can send you my bit from Alicante.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know whether or not the grandchildren are watching this, but Ollie, Reese, Sophie and Ben, we're going to take off in our Santa hats in order to see whether we can find out if he's having a test flight in the sleigh. I know it's not Christmas night, but maybe he's up and about.
Tonight, while all the world was sleeping, a light exploded in the sky, and then, as glory did surround us, a voice, an angel did appear. Glory to God in the highest, and on the earth be peace from him. Glory to God in the highest, and on the earth be peace from Afraid, we covered up our faces, amazed at what our ears did hear. Good news of joy for all the people. Today, a Savior has appeared. Glory to God in the highest,
Okay, what height do you reckon we'll see Santa? Probably need to go higher than 1,000, won't we?
Don't know, look out for the reindeer, they got sharp hooves.
Yeah.
How many hours have you got in this now?
Oh, this particular one?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's getting on for 200 now.
Have you got anything on you that's likely to fall off on this flight?
No, well, I don't know. I don't know about physical attributes, etc. But
Oh, yeah, I did wonder.
I got no camera that's gonna. I mean, I don't know whether you saw the video, but I didn't like the effect anyway. You know, it's too sort of wobbly around. But
Yeah.
with the camera up there, all you were doing really was filming the frame. There was a general consensus of opinion that it wasn't the best thing, which is fine.
Well, I suppose you have to try these things.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was given to me as a present, so,
Yeah.
you know. No, I'm actually quite happy with the shots I've got. I mean, that one, doing the side camera, it's only as good as the conditions when you fly. But I mean, that one does the job now, it's fixed. And as I put at the end of that last video, I think it is important really that you actually just put them on and leave them. I know I'll talk to the camera, especially if I'm flying by myself. What I'm going to do for this video, as long as I can make it work and work properly, is I've got some of the recordings of my school, because I don't know whether you saw, no, you won't have seen it because it hasn't come out yet, but the one of Dad's, I was flying him around and I was definitely putting him over places that I knew would spark off
Right.
bits and pieces, you know,
Yeah.
the rectory where he moved to when he was 15, overhead hours, the railway line, and then he used to spend a lot of time taking us down to Felixstowe and Harwich. So, you know, that means you actually, you did a lot of reminiscing. Now, I don't know what you find, but I find the older I get, the more I think back to some of the things that I used to do.
That's natural.
And I don't necessarily look back and think, oh, those were the days, because there's lots that's happening at the moment that's really good. But, you know, you think back, especially when, you know, there are members of the family and friends that are no longer around. But the one thing, I got a contact down there.
No, fast, isn't it? That's Eggy.
Is it?
Yeah. You got some hope for catching him. I'd be hard pushed to catch him.
But, yeah, as I was saying, especially this time of year, I do miss being in primary school, because, you know, what with the nativity plays and the carol concerts and just the general atmosphere, because the little children getting so excited about it all.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have, you know, your staff around, staff meals at Christmas, etc. And I know a lot of it depends on the staff that you create around you. So yeah, I've got some of the recordings that I'll play over the top, just to acknowledge the children and everything. And I got one, and it was a little girl who was singing the first verse of Once in Royal David City. And the strange thing is, she now sort of watches my Facebook, and I see what she does, and she's a young, definitely an adult young lady.
Yeah.
So I'll play the first verse of that.
Once in Royal David City stood an early castle shed, where a mother laid her baby in a manger for his bed. Mary was their mother, Jesus Christ, her little child.
Because of course the thing is, I actually retired at Christmas as well, so that made it even
Oh, I
even more poignant.
Yeah, I see. I understand.
We used to do a Christingle on the last thing on a Friday, well, the last day of term, the last service. You know, where they have the orange and they light the candles and everything. Well, we wouldn't let the youngsters light the candles, but we actually lined up all of the older children down the outside of the rows and then lit their candles and then turned off all of the lights in the hall. So the whole hall was just lit up with just the candlelight, and they've got the lights on the children's faces. Now I would love to be able to show that in this video, but of course I can't, because we had rules about publishing children's faces. So unfortunately I can't do that, but that was very, very magical. And when you saw children after that, they were all saying just how much they enjoyed those things. And then the very last Christingle, they actually sang what was my favourite. Well, I had a number of songs that they used to like singing. The one I thought they used to sing best of all was "Let There Be Peace on Earth."
All right.
And they sang that as the very last thing, as a farewell to me.
Oh. Right.
And that's quite a moving one, which I'll add somewhere along this this video. But yeah, I mean, do I miss it? As I said before, there's lots I do miss, but there's a heck of a lot that I don't.
Or the hassle.
Yeah, the hassle, I mean, it comes with the job. But as far as I'm concerned, every child was a child. They had a name, they had a family. I knew each of them really well, because of course I was head for 17 years. So you knew the families, you knew older members of the family. And I could actually stand in front of assembly, and I did it to one Ofsted inspector on one occasion. And I could just say, I said, well, name a child. And she named the child, well, she pointed to a child, and I was able to tell that person everything about that child, how they were doing academically, but also social-wise, etc., etc. And I was a bit hurt because she said something like, "Oh, that's quite an interesting party piece." And I thought that's really horrible because, you know, I'm just showing you I know my children.
That's what you'd expect from one of them. Huh? Yeah,
but it is nice to be able to, in the middle of the week, have a nice day like this and just go flying.
Do you know where the actual airfield was there? Because that Martlesham was an airfield, wasn't it?
You've got very little of it now,
That's
but it was this side. I actually went in there when I was training.
Right.
Just before they pulled it all to pieces.
So where was the actual airfield?
Right underneath you now.
Right. So there's nothing left remaining of it at all?
No. They dug it all up. I mean, it's not a new housing estate now.
No,
But
I realise that.
it was all in through here. I was just looking to see if there was any sign. Certainly where I landed. Can you see the old Air Force buildings there? They've got the old H blocks
Oh
by
yeah,
the side of the road.
Yeah.
So I think it was, what I landed on was definitely this side of the road.
But wasn't that a World War I aerodrome as well?
Yeah, and it was at the start of the Second World War. It was Boscombe Down, wasn't it?
Was it?
Where they did all the test pilot stuff.
All right.
But they decided it was too close to Germany because it was probably one of the first airfields. But I think the plan was to move it further inland.
Oh, I didn't know that. That is fantastic visibility. You can see right past the power station.
Yeah.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It's excellent. I mean, I did notice that had we gone Stansted way, I know that's into sun, but it did look as if it was more murky that way.
Yeah, you can look back and see a bit more murky, but that visibility across there is...
Yeah. This is always an interesting pattern, because you've got the river coming out, but instead of going out to the sea, it turns and comes back on itself.
I'm not sure that I've actually flown along this bit of coast.
Yeah.
I must have done. I would have thought.
I'm not sure what they're saying is the height of that. 2000. The bird sanctuary.
Yeah. Well, I can't see birds flying.
Yeah. Oh, you can definitely see, as a geographer, you can definitely see longshore drift here, the way that it's
it's big.
coming down the beach here.
Yeah, we learnt all about them in geography. My geography teacher used to hate me. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how hard I tried, the harder I tried, the lower marks he would give me. And we had to do homework, geography homework, and I more or less, I copied the map out of Encyclopedia Britannica, which was absolutely perfect. I traced it all out, coloured it all in, really went to town. And I still only got 3 out of 10. Looks like they're doing a bit of work along there.
Yeah.
A lot of groundwork's going on.
Because they did a lot of radar development stuff along this coast, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'll turn round the lighthouse and then head back inland.
I don't know, it looks quite nice. Just keep going.
Yeah.
How far is it across there to the nearest bit of land?
About 100 miles, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Where would that bring you out? Was that Holland?
North Holland, you know, Texel around there by those islands.
That's what I thought, because that's the way we came back when I flew over there with Dave.
Yeah. Because you got all of these aerials were all on a radial, weren't they?
Yeah. Interesting that lake there, look.
Yeah.
Because it's a complete semicircle.
Semicircle, yeah.
And it's obviously been man-made, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got like as if it's in a depression because it's got reinforcements around it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What a lovely day.
This is absolutely amazing. I mean, you look how close that gets to the coast.
Yeah.
Yet it turns around and feeds all the way back there.
Yeah, it's very strange. You'd think it'd break through, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Some very weird shaped fields with the little...
Yeah,
you know,
little wobbly bits.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best use of the land, is it?
Weird.
At one point in history, you couldn't go 6 miles in any direction round here without going over an airfield, could you?
No.
The circuit's almost in the land.
Yeah.
Can you imagine 1,000 bombers taking them?
Yeah. I was watching something with Dad about it was a B-24 being rebuilt, etc. But they were actually saying that it's a commemoration to the 1,000 airmen a day they lost. You know, a day.
Yeah.
I must admit, I'm hogging all the flying. You can fly if you want.
No, I'm fine, mate. I'm just happy to be up here, really.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's quite nice to be a passenger because you can just look, sit back and
I know that when I used to fly with Martin in the Nord, I'd actually just put my head on my my arm and just balance it and just watch the world go by underneath. Because it's still magical because, you know, here we are. Doesn't it look as if we're flying over a model? You know, you've removed yourself from it all. Dad commented on it, and I must admit I tend to ignore it now, but the seats are very comfortable, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a hell of a lot better than they were.
Yeah. We're nearly back at the airfield, so it just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. I would like to take this opportunity of thanking all of my viewers. Thank everybody who subscribes. If you haven't subscribed, please do. It does help. I do like getting the ticks, don't we all? But I also like getting the comments. So feel free to comment. I really do appreciate that, and I do get back and answer each and every one of them. It just leaves me to say, well, John and I, to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas.
Don't drink too much.
And a Happy New Year.
Don't fly and drink.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy landings.
Hot summer.
Very enjoyable, wasn't it?
That was very enjoyable. Definitely. And nobody's nicked the car.
Yep. Looking really good.
Got to get a picture of that in it.